Aching Hearts. This was very interesting story. One of the shots I liked a lot during this story was when the woman was standing at the stove and you could just see from the back, you were looking at her back while she was standing at the stove. Actually, really great acting, strong actress, by the way, I really thought. Just when she first stood there and then you could see her shoulders drop and her sigh. Just a really great moment, and I love the shot that where the camera was shooting from and how the filmmakers chose to do it that way. And then of course it starts getting later and the lighting is changing, and I really like the lighting in that shot as well. And then the woman comes in with the red dress. I really like the colors throughout, the use of color in this. Just the cinematography and the lighting too were really great. I like that the two were having a conversation and then we were watching the girl in the bathroom during this conversation. So I really liked that a lot. She's, you know, you get like 2 in 1, so to speak. You get the advantage of seeing what she's going through while you're hearing the other people talking. I really like that a lot. Great. I like the shot of the stairwell too. The shot where the two are in the stairwell and you can see from above. Really cool camera work there. The ending was strange to me. I got it, but I kind of wanted to see more of what actually happened. I do believe less is more, and I liked the red filter. It kind of, all of a sudden there's this red and you know there's a change happening and something happened. But it was weird to just kind of see her reach down and then there's blood on her hand. I know she kind of pushed her away. I kind of wanted to see something else there, to kind of understand it more, but maybe that was, you know, the creative choice. Overall, I really liked this a lot. I thought there was a lot of strong acting in this, and the story was good and sad and tragic. I liked it a lot, so great job.
All right, I just finished watching Aching Hearts, which I ended up enjoying this piece. It had a really great sort of sinister feel and mood throughout that I thought was really matched well with the quality of the acting by the leads on screen. They had a really great sort of thematic motive with not just the color red, obviously, but just a lot of editing approaches and pacing approaches that I thought really worked well as a counterbalance to what appeared to be, you know, in the opening they come back together and you think it's a happy reunion, and then you realize that they're hashing out a lot of very dark and complicated past events, and then there's a lot of history between them that hasn't really been resolved properly, and that her arrival wasn't really as welcoming as she had imagined, or either of them had imagined it going. So I thought there was a good sort of foundational setup to what would ultimately be the ending that plays out in a very sort of obviously off-screen way, a way that even blends the notion of reality, if it actually happened and she was imagining it, or what was going on. But I thought that the piece really sort of set up that as a being the actual ending in a way that they show the lead actress sort of carrying a darkness within her right from the open, where she's very silent and everything's quite quiet until the her former flame shows up. Her former partner arrives and she's bringing a different level of energy. I thought that the piece had a very strong sort of emotional temperature that set up what the ending would end up being. So I thought it ended up working well for me at least. So it was well acted. I thought it was well directed. A lot of really nice shots, a lot of really cinematic setups that I thought worked artistically and just was engaging to go through in a short period of time, mainly because there's such a great naturalistic feel between the actresses on screen. So I thought it was well done overall.
Aching Hearts was such a tragic story, but I think was acted really well. I think it was paced out really well, and there were a lot of creative risks in here that you took lighting wise and transition wise, and I think with what you were trying to establish with the story, I think it really paid off. I really want to commend the acting in this. I think the story was interesting and sometimes could be a little bit difficult to follow, but I think the acting really made up for it and centered the piece in a way that could have not been if there were different actors. So I really want to commend them. Um, the story was really interesting. Like I said, at times there were a few leaps, but I think stylistically it made a lot of sense. So in that regard, I think it worked out really, really well. Overall, you knew what you were going for. You knew the tone that you wanted in this piece, and I think it came together to be very full and enveloped in that. And I think that's really good for understanding what you wanted and how that was portrayed fully. But overall, it was a really well put together piece. Very well done.
Aching Hearts was really, really well done. I loved the cinematography. I loved the subtle storytelling and the subtle performances. Obviously, these characters are dealing with a really heavy subject matter, and you can feel, without it being outright said, you can feel the weight and the sadness that these characters are carrying, and you can see it and you can feel it within the interactions between these two main actresses. Um, so many unsaid things, and the ending was quite a surprise. So I liked that. I also really liked that color change shift right towards the end, where you kind of just like get this different perspective of other scenes that we've seen, and I thought that was a really nice twist ending. And yeah, I just thought the performances were really, really strong. They were able to convey a lot of deep feeling and emotion in not a way that felt put on. It felt very understated and authentic. And yeah, I thought this was really great storytelling and great filmmaking.
I really like Aching Hearts. I like the choice. I want to shout out the cinematography. I want to shout out the cinematography. One, the color story, the red and the white, black color palette really worked. Really, it felt like a motivated choice. I really liked the choice to do the aspect ratio the way y'all did. It gave it a home movie feel vibe, or like a vintage home vibe, and I really rock with that because I think that really added to the emotion that you were going for. And then I also want to shout out the actresses. They were all great. Really bringing the emotion without overacting. Really like masters of like understated, but not too understated to where you're like, what are they feeling? You still feel it. So it was great. I really liked it. It was great. Well done. Just good job.
There's a bit for Aching Hearts. I love this story, the dramatism and intensity of the dialogues, the tragic reality behind the couple's estrangement, how it unveils through the dialogue and the conversation, and everyone's part in this. The use of red and black to suggest the character's feeling and emotions through the film, it was very cleverly put. The performances are outstanding. The ending was excellent, so elegant, so flowy, no violence. It was also not expected. I really liked that, and I loved the film.
When your phone is buzzing in the middle of the night, that leaves your senses heightened. For we know a call in the middle of the night is typically not a good sign, immediately putting the audience on edge and questioning what is exactly taking place here. The shot that leads after that is pretty foggy, as if the brain is still waking up as we cut to our lead in bed. She's in for a rude awakening on the arrival of an unexpected guest, who we later find out is her ex, who barges in like she owns the place, causing a strain on the current relationship the lead has that is still new and blossoming. And it's hard letting go of a person who's been in your life for a long time. There are some people you just can't put out on the street. And through dialogue, we hear that the gruesome catalyst of their breakup was her ex killing their child due to a DUI accident. And our lead here is wearing white, the sense of purity and sterile nature, pointing towards that the relationship is in fact dead, whereas her ex wears a bold red, desperate for a moment of passion. But 5 years hasn't changed what broke them. In fact, our framing gets filled with this color grade of a red filter, and not in the sense of passion, but in the sense of anger.